addressing the issue?
Thanks, Lawrence. Good to be here. I think for us it's about destroying stereotypes, if you like, and just on Hope's point there is that, when I was first working with homeless people in 1993, I used to hate the expression when people used to say, look, the homeless, like the homeless were this kind of blob. And actually I would always say, actually you mean homeless people, because actually they're all different individuals and they have different strengths and weaknesses, and some are men and some are women and some are tall and some are small, they're actually people. And, so when we came up with the football, as we call it soccer, but when we came up with this football tournament, it was about changing lives, fundamentally focused on the homeless people themselves becoming football stars, soccer stars. But it was also about changing the view of people who were watching. And because I've been working internationally in terms of homelessness, I was able to see that the problem is manifesting itself in the same way everywhere in the world, everywhere you went. Okay, so if you live in Sacramento, you think it's a Sacramento problem. If you live in California, it's actually global. It's everywhere. And so we wanted to create this event where people could come together and play in the Homeless World Cup, representing their country, and talk about the change in them as players, and the change in the people who are watching, and the change in the media. That was one of the big, huge drivers for us in terms of creating that change. So, I mean, anecdotally, Lawrence, I always remember the first event well. When I was first working with homeless people back in Scotland, in the very first magazine that we did, because we did street papers, the homeless guys would write poems, some of which were very good and some of which were terrible. But there was this one I always remember, which was headlined, Don't spit on me. And people who spit at homeless people in the street, just go by and just spit at them, as if they're kind of some non-human thing. It's a horrible thing. And he wrote this poem. And then in the first Homeless World Cup, some years later, Harold, who was the co-founder with me, we were standing in the back of the stand, watching a game, and there was this noise outside, and it was the Dutch team, Dutch homeless players, walking down the street to come and start their game through the city centre, and people were standing up in cafes and bars and in the parks and applauding them, and children were running up and asking for their autographs. And Harold and I looked at each other and said, that'll be homeless people then. Nobody was spitting at them, people were applauding them. And that's the change, the fundamental change that we wanted to happen, is that people talked about them as a good goalkeeper, or not a good goalkeeper, or a good scorer, a good passer, or whatever. They became footballers, people were looking at them as footballers, and all that we did was change what they were wearing and created a pitch in the middle of the city. And that's how you create a change. That's how you do it.
Amen to that. And, yes.